My first experience when I arrived here at St. Mary's, what was that like? I think it was a little bit of a shell shock. I knew it was going to be very different from my previous parish, which was smaller. In my smaller parishes, there was a great sense of community, family. Here, none of that happened, and so the connection with people just wasn't there.
The parish at that time was, it was a big cold building, really. I thought so. People didn't really know my name, people didn't really ask my name, and I didn't really think people cared to know my name.
When the bishop asked me to come here, it was, I told him it's a very onerous task, but I said yes. And a couple of days after saying yes, I had a dream, and in that dream, I'd won, I think I'd won a lottery. And then the person who was talking to me said, and you get this with it. And my eyes were drawn across to look at a harbor, and there were ships lined all around it. And every single ship was derelict. And he said, you get this with it. And this was a ship that was lying in the middle. It was a cargo ship lying on its side. And then the next part of the dream, I was looking towards the mouth of the harbor, and parked up alongside the harbor wall was a ship. It was a battleship, big like World War II battleship. A little bit rust, needed some work, and it was just sitting there, pointing out to sea, ready to go. And then the third part of the vision was that same battleship in high seas, heavy seas. The top deck was full of people, it was packed with people. And the people on the top deck were reaching over the side, pulling people from the sea because the sea was full of people drowning, holding on to life rafts, and they were just pulling people out. I realized that that was the ship, the cargo ship and the battleship were both the same ship, and it was the cathedral. And that was kind of the vision behind what we're trying to do here. Everybody is crew, there's no cargo, and we've got a purpose. We're not going to be sitting and rotting here. Yeah. I think what struck me when reading the book was, I think just even the first chapter was powerful when he spoke about the Great Commission and focused on the main word there is make disciples. So we got together with the bishop and members of Divine Renovation just to help us to work through that. And that whole thing about making disciples was very much front and center. And now the SLT, the leadership team, you know, I can walk with them and they're with me on the journey, which just lightens the load.
I now currently serve on the SLT team, the senior leadership team, and I have the responsibility for heading up the welcome team and the hospitality team. And hospitality is absolutely critical, and wanting people to be made to feel really welcome when they come here, greeted with a smile, and people that take a genuine interest in them.
Every single guest coming into our place is seen, heard, and loved. And it is a hugely successful night if that has happened to every single person who's walked over that threshold. They're seen, they're heard, and they're loved. It has been a fantastic night.
We need to help people to have an encounter with Jesus. That's what the adoration is for. That's what we'll be doing with the healing ministries. That's what the liturgy is there for. You know, how can we make the liturgy such that when people come here, they have an encounter with Jesus? That's, you know, when they come, how can we help that to happen? How can we facilitate? How can we open the doors so that people can walk through and just meet Christ? You know, that's wow.